What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you this guide to runes in Divinity Original Sin 2. So, straight up, I'm going to level with you guys. This is a slight bit of filler video because I'm currently working on trying to get all the footage together for the last two armor sets for the Relics of Rivellon gift bag, as well as all of the footage to do a full story of series for Divinity Original Sin 2. And it is taking a while, so I decided to basically just find a topic I could make a video about that doesn't really get a lot of attention. I thought this fit that bill great, the rune system. So if you're unaware, there are runes that you can find in Divinity Original Sin 2. They come in a few different sizes, small, medium, large, and giant. In addition to these sizes, there are also two rune frames, a rune frame of power and a mystical rune frame. However, we'll get into those in a minute. Runes can actually be slotted into weapons, armor, or amulets if that particular piece of equipment has a rune slot. Now this functions very similar to putting gems in gem slots almost in say WoW or something like that. However, at no point are any of your runes ever destroyed. You can put them into armor and take them out as you wish. Now that is because Divinity Original Sin 2 is ultimately linear in the sense that it's acts. Like in an act you can go anywhere you want, but after you leave that act you can't really go back without loading a previous save file. And because of that, it would be very tedious if you had to destroy runes to replace them. Being able to reuse them as you upgrade your gear constantly is just the better way to go, really, and it's less of a hassle. Now the runes themselves do more or less what you'd imagine. They come in Flame, Frost, Masterwork, Rock, Thunder, and Venom. Flame gives you fire damage and weapons, fire resistance and armor slots, crit chance if you put it in an amulet, and then of course mousing over the runes will actually show you what it does in each particular type of armor. Now to actually put a rune in armor, all you gotta do is bring up the crafting menu, click on the rune tab, and then it'll give you a list of options similar to how the crafting works, where you can insert the runes or take them out in an armor, weapon, or amulet. Now it is possible also to use crafting to either make the runes outright or upgrade the runes. This usually involves pixie dust and other materials. Upgrading them is pretty straightforward. If you want to make a medium, you need 2 smalls and pixie dust. If you want to make a large, you need 2 mediums and pixie dust. If you want to make giant, you need 2 flames and a pouch of superior pixie dust. So pretty straightforward as far as upgrading them goes. You can actually do that or just straight up find better runes. In addition to that, you can also use the rune frames that I mentioned earlier. Now, rune frames are where it gets fun. So what rune frames do is if you combine them with a rune, it adds straight up stat bonuses on top of the extra damage and resistances you would normally get. If we were to combine a rune frame of power with a masterwork rune, in addition to dealing extra physical damage in a weapon, it would actually also give us extra strength now as well. And that works pretty much across the board with different stats and everything as you use them. Mystical rune frames give very specific bonuses to things like two-handed, wits, single-handed, your dual-wielding ability, your ranged, your straight-up regular skill abilities like summoning or huntsman, things like that. So something to keep in mind there. And that is pretty much it, guys, as far as using the runes, acquiring them, and making them. So again, you can craft runes outright, you can upgrade them with crafting, or you can just find or buy them, as well as the rune frames. They are just out in the world. And if you're smart about using them, they can give you some serious bonuses to your gear. So this is the part of the video where I want to mention what I don't like about the rune system. Frankly, that it exists. The rune system is one of the parts of Divinity Original Sin 2 that honestly I just don't care for that much. You can beat this entire game on honor mode without ever touching these runes. They're just not necessary. This is an extra, incredibly in-depth system. Honestly, if you get into it, there's a lot of depth to this rune system, but you don't need to use any of it. You don't have to engage with it at all. This is just superfluous. In fact, most people don't even realize this is a thing when they're playing the game. You just don't engage with it that much at all because it is so irrelevant to power progression for the most part. As I just mentioned, it can give you some serious upgrades if you know what you're doing with it, but because it's so in-depth and the game doesn't really do a good job of explaining it to you at all, really, it's almost completely unused. So because of that, it's a layer of depth that most people don't ever see, and the people who do use it don't need to use it. So personally, I think they would have been better off honestly just scrapping the whole system. Because on one hand, it's really cool, right? There's this, it's just an extra layer of depth, but they do such a poor job of explaining it that it's almost pointless to have it at all. At least that's how I personally feel about it. That said, if you guys disagree, absolutely tell me about it in the comment section down below. In the description, I will actually link to a guide that will show you literally every combination possible for the runes, because there's just way too many for me to go into here. But if you're interested in that and seeing every possible combination, there will be a link down below to a guide that will do that for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found the video informative and you're now more aware of what runes can do for you in Divinity Original Sin 2, and hopefully this will spread some awareness about them at the very least. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have an amazing day.